to Suffolk Matters, where all of Suffolk County meets the men and women of Suffolk AME. News, opinions, and insights you won't hear anywhere else. Here's your host, the president of New York's largest independent union, Suffolk AME's Dan Leveler.
Welcome to another edition of Suffolk Matters on Walk 97.5 and 94.3 The Shark, where Suffolk County meets the men and women of Suffolk AME. News and views you can't hear anywhere else.
Good morning. This is Tom Moran, the Executive Vice President at Suffolk County AME, filling in for your normal host, Dan Leveler. Today I have with me Legislator Sarah Anker. She serves the 6th Legislative District. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Tom.
So let's jump into it. In your capacity as a legislator over the past 10 years, you've been a true friend to AME, and I want to thank you, and thank you for always supporting labor.
It was my pleasure. It's my honor. You know, it really is. It's the staff, it's the members in AME that really keep our county running and going, and we need to be aware that the county doesn't look good if the staff is not doing well. And, you know, working with the union, working with the members of AME is one of my highest priorities.
So you've had the honor of serving for over the last 10 years, and if reelected in November, this will be your final term as legislator. What are your thoughts going into that?
Oh my goodness. I wish I could stay longer, but we do have the 12-year term limits. And I'm in about 10 years. I was elected in 2011 during a special election. I've been through 6 campaigns. This is my 7th campaign running for a Suffolk County legislator. And it's been a great experience, incredible highs and incredible lows. 2015, I won by one vote out of 12,000 people voting. At the end, with the absentee votes, it was 19 votes. I'm in a very challenging district for a Democrat. I consider myself a fiscally conservative Democrat, and I think the most important part, you know, in trying to succeed and win campaigns is understanding that the political designation should not be the priority. It's what the person does as an elected official, what that person has done in the past, what is their record, and I'm very proud of my record. You know, I have a slogan, securing our future with proven leadership, and I've done my best, and I'm hoping, again, continue to do more helping people, but it has just been an absolute honor serving as the legislator for the 6th District.
Sure, and you talk about that election. That was at that night you had won by one vote.
Yeah.
A couple of, I guess it must have been 10 or 12 days after that you
exactly
were officially declared the winner, and I guess it's like a landslide at that point. You're up to 19 winning by just the one.
That's it. I mean, they call me landslide anchor, and you know, all the campaigns have been very close. But I get out there, I knock on doors, and, you know, Tom, I can't tell you how many times I hear, I've never voted for a Democrat in my entire life, but I voted for you. And I was out walking yesterday, and I heard that twice. And it really makes me feel good that I'm working for the people. I'm not, you know, working for a party. I'm not, you know, working for myself. I'm doing the work as a public servant, and people see that, and they understand that, and they respect that, and I'm happy, you know, that I can do what I can do.
Yeah, you have to feel good when people say something like that to you, maybe not knowing if they're affiliated with your party, but they see that the good work that you're doing and support you in your quest to, again, be elected for your final time, should that happen in November. Over the last 10 years, and now we'll look forward to another 2 years if this does happen, what have been your priorities in your district and in Suffolk County in general?
Sure. Well, my number one priority in general is just being the voice for my constituents. If there's an issue, and, you know, it could be a pothole in the road, or it could be someone that has an addiction issue that needs help. It could be a senior that needs help with Medicare and Medicaid, which is a federal level jurisdiction. But my office and myself, we're happy to help. And again, we want to make sure that people know that the government is here for them. And that's really been a great honor to be able to provide help for those in need. I have the Scouts, the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts come to my office, and they earn their badge, speaking to an elected official. And they asked me, why did you decide to run for an elected position? And I said, I can tell you in 3 words: to help people. And they can relate, because as a Scout, that's what they're also doing. As far as other priorities, public safety. Public safety is probably one of my top priorities, because people need to feel safe in their house, in their community, addressing any type of crime, but also public safety with the roads. I got on the expressway coming over here, the LIE, and it's a little bumpy. And my office has written so many letters, and we've contacted New York State Department of Transportation to repair their roads. The county has been pretty good. We have a jurisdiction over the county roads. Town roads, we work with the town. I'm in the town of Brookhaven, and they've been pretty good in addressing issues when we contact them. But, I also am looking at the fiscal stability of the county, water quality, public health, and quality of life.
So what else would be something you'd hope to achieve for Suffolk County in your district if you were elected?
Well, again, I have so many projects that I've been working on. The North Shore Rail Trail, and that's related to the traffic safety issue. So there have been a number of people, fatalities, injuries, trying to ride their bike along the road or jog or walk. And so 50 years ago at the Sound Beach Civic Association, someone had an idea that let's put a recreational path on the LIPA right-of-way. And I thought, well, that's going to be difficult. You got to get all these people together. So the idea came about to actually do it probably about right before I got in office, maybe about 15 years ago. And I decided to focus on that. And basically, I've been facilitating a 10-mile recreational path called the North Shore Rail Trail. It's federally funded. We had $10 million. We were able to get it down to $8 million. And it we're hoping to open the trail sometime this fall, if not maybe in the spring. There's a lot of work being done as we speak, and folks are on it. I can't recommend to get on the trail because I want to make sure all the safety measures are in, the signage, the lights. But this is a much safer alternative than folks, getting on their bikes and trying to ride on these dangerous roads and highways. And, I'm really happy that we've been able to work together with the community, with LIPA, PSEG, and the county, the Department of Public Transportation. They have done an amazing job. CF Stone is one of the contractors. So it gives me a lot of pleasure to see, the families on their bikes enjoying the beautiful outdoors. And another part is, why I felt these quality of life projects are so important. I worked to create with a handful of folks the Heritage Park, and we call it the North Shore Heritage Park in Mount Sinai. That property was going to be a Home Depot. Now, I don't mind Home Depots. I love Home Depots. I can go and I appreciate what they have there, but not in the middle of Mount Sinai. So we got together. I was on the board of the Mount Sinai Civic Association, and we had this plan. And Fred Drews came up again with the idea of creating a central park like New York City's Central Park in the middle of Mount Sinai. And at first I'm thinking, well, how's this going to work? There's a lot of roads, a lot of busy roads around the area. But we came up with a plan, and Lori Baldassare was one of the main forces behind getting this park completed. We worked with the county. The Suffolk County bought the property. The town of Brookhaven built the park, and the Heritage Trust, a not-for-profit, maintains and runs the programs. So this is one of Suffolk County's first public-private partnerships. And it was so successful. And, I encourage folks, if you're listening, to go visit. It's at the end of County Road 83 and Route 25A in Mount Sinai. Everyone can go there. You don't have to pay a fee. You can park free, which is like a very uncommon thing, it seems like lately. But and get out, enjoy the parks. Suffolk County also has, in my district, Cordwood Landing, Chandler Estate. With COVID, people want to do more outside, and they want to get the kids outside. They want to enjoy the beaches. Cedar Beach, is right around the corner. So again, I encourage folks to enjoy what Suffolk County has to offer. And I'm right now looking to take the template of the North Shore Heritage Park in Mount Sinai and do the same type of park for the Longwood District community. I've been working on this for 4 years. I have to have a willing seller. I looked at the old Kmart property. The owner declined the offer from the county, so we were not able to buy that property. But we're looking at other parcels in Middle Island, and I really want to try to, again, make this happen. I'm very determined. Someone says I'm like a dog with a bone. I won't let go, no matter what. So whether I'm in office or not, I've always been a very strong advocate, and I will continue to do that.
Sure, and I couldn't agree with you more. We've seen it so much with our employees that our parks employees,
Mm-hmm.
how much our natural outdoor space is being used in this county.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like when we go back to when we were kids and it would rain for one day and you felt like you were cooped up in the house. The past 18 months, people have really felt like that. So for you to bring these initiatives like the parks you've already done, like the rail trail, and just if you could expand a little more for our listeners, where if they're not familiar with your district, where it actually is and how they could access it if they would. Again, suggested not until it's complete to go
Yeah, of
check
course.
it out. But
Sure.
once everything is done there, where would they go to get on? Is it somewhere that has multiple
It's multiple
places that you can enter?
Yeah,
You can
sure.
start at the one end and go to the other.
Multiple locations. So it starts Mount Sinai, Crystal Brook Hollow Road. It starts there. There's a plaza. You could park in the different plazas that are along the trail. Remember, this is 10 miles, and it runs along school districts. It runs along parks. It runs the Tesla Museum. It is there. There's numerous parking spaces, and we're going to get that information out so people can locate what area might be closer to them, because someone may not want to do the entire trail. So they're going to park, maybe in Mount Sinai, or if they're over in Wading River, maybe they'll hop on the trail, at the school district, if as long as the parking lots are open, and grab the trail over there. But, I do have to caution, again, you're crossing over secondary roads. You have to follow the safety rules. There is the Greenway Trail over in Port Jeff Station, Setauket. That's a beautiful, beautiful trail. And we've taken the ideas of what they've been doing, and we've brought that over to the North Shore Rail Trail. We can't do a lot of extra work, like put park benches and signage, kiosk, things like that, because we're working with LIPA and the right-of-way. So we need to make sure everyone's safe. But again, I highly recommend when we're at the point where we can cut the ribbon and say, okay, the trail is now open, enjoy it, and that because this is what your tax dollars are paying for. So you and your families can enjoy what Suffolk County has. Mm-hmm.
And that's just speaks about all you've done, not only being a legislator, but being involved in the community and different community organizations to work to get things done. Something else we could talk about, that you might be the only elected official that does have a drive-through at their office. Is that true?
That's true. Yeah, we recently got an office. It's over in the Aliano Shopping Center. It's the old HSBC Bank, and we're probably one of the few campaign offices that have a drive-through. So if you'd like to go through the drive-through, you're more than welcome. But again, I appreciate all the volunteers, the people who've spent their time and their money and their donations towards my campaign, because it really takes people. It takes a group of people. They say it takes a village to be able to succeed. And what's really important too, Tom, is that you have to understand different perspectives. Last night I was talking to a woman. She has a great big, Trump sign that lights up in her yard, and I'm talking to her, and she is one of a very big supporter of mine. So again, there's the understanding that me, Sarah Anchor, is there to help you, whoever you are. And, one person at a time. And I've been doing this for 10 years. And actually, I've been doing this probably for close to 20 years because I started, again, with the Civic Association. I worked on helping to create the park. And as the Heritage Trust started their not-for-profit organization, I started my own organization. And this organization was called Community Health and Environment Coalition, CHEC for short. And it was to address the high cancer rates in my community and the surrounding communities. Mount Sinai had just been designated as a cancer cluster. And again, this was a little less than 20 years ago. And my grandmother, unfortunately, had passed away from breast cancer. And then I noticed neighbors were coming down with cancer, and I was really concerned. And I can't just wait for something to happen. I want to get involved. If there's something that's already going, great, I'll join it, I'll do what I can. But no one was addressing this. So I sat around my dining room table with my nurse friends and community friends, and we started this organization. And we were able to get the state health department to come into our community and do an investigation. Now, what they came up with was that, there were pesticides used. There was maybe some air pollution across in Connecticut that might have blown over. Maybe there had been some water issues, but they didn't say exactly what the cause was. But here we are almost 20 years later, and we're finding chemicals in our water. Suffolk County is leading the way in filtering the toxic chemicals, that's PFAS and PFOS, that are cancer-causing chemicals. And these chemicals were not thought of as dangerous, sort of like when we were using lead in paint. Well, now we know better not to use that. The mercury and some of these other very toxic chemicals that we just used, Agent Orange, which is now being used as a pesticide, but we know it causes, health concerns. So I've been doing this a long time, and it's what I do. It makes me feel good. I'm very happy to be able to help, of course, but I'm getting something done. And I think that's one of the most important parts too in being a legislator is, listening, talking, communicating, but action, making sure that you're doing everything you can to address whatever that issue or project may entail.
Sure, and quite topical with it being October and Breast Cancer Month.
Mm-hmm.
Now, anybody that's not familiar with CHEC, and either they wanted to get involved or they just wanted to learn more, is there somewhere they can go, and do you have a website for it?
Well, yeah, I did. I closed it down because I got so busy doing what I'm doing as a legislator. I had to refocus my time. Just like everyone, you have to prioritize what you do day to day, even minute by minute. And I decided, to close it down, and I donated, I donated my money to the North Shore Neighborhood Help. That's Patty Kozlowski, and I don't have her information offhand, but you can contact me. Go to sarahanchor.com. That's my website, and you can email me, and I'll get you whatever information related to that. But what's interesting, and it's nice that we recently lit the Pink Tree of Hope. And so at the Heritage Park in Mount Sinai, as you're driving by at night, you'll see a beautiful pink tree, like lit in lights. And it's to remind folks that we're still dealing with these health issues. CHEC was looking at, again, environmental causes to cancer and health issues. And we were advocating, again, 20 years ago. Now we're seeing it being accepted more because of 9/11. We're seeing what the exposure to our firefighters and first responders have experienced and the delayed reaction with health. So we need to make sure we're addressing that before people become sick, and especially with our kids.
And it's not really, you did say that CHEC was shut down, but you've continued the work in your role that you're doing now. So
Sure.
it's just sort of transformed from where you were doing 20 years ago, that you're still continuing to do that. It's just in a different role now as being elected.
Absolutely. I mean, prior to being elected official, I was on Suffolk County's Cancer Prevention Task Force, and now I'm still on it as a legislator. So, working with these organizations, the Civic Association and the group that I started, I became aware of what it takes to work with the government, the community, and putting those pieces together to make sure, our projects get completed, the issues get answered and addressed. And I think that's what's really important. If folks are interested, again, join clubs. If you love historical, qualities about the legacy of Suffolk County, join your local historical association. If you're upset about a road or about something within your community, join your local civic association. A lot of the folks, they don't realize that the answers and the solutions are right in their backyard, and they can be part of the solution.
Certainly. I wanted to speak about something else that I know that you're very concerned with and trying to make progress in. Before my role of being the executive vice president of AME, my county job was that I'm a 911 operator for FRES.
There you go.
So
yeah.
something that really affects the county on a daily basis is the opioid, right?
Sure.
And what's going on. Can you talk about some of the initiatives that you've started to do as far as just this epidemic with opioids?
Of course. I saw this coming down, again, probably 15, 17 years ago. I have children. My children are now in their 20s. But I saw that with my kids, I have a almost 30-year-old, a 25, and a 20-year-old. But I saw the epidemic raging, within schools. I was on the school board in Mount Sinai, and I would hear what was happening within the school district and the community. When my son was 13, one of the kids in his class died of an opioid overdose on the boy's sofa. And that was, a while back. And so when I became a legislator, I knew this needed to be prioritized as far as addressing the issue with drug addiction. But folks need to understand drug addiction and mental health go hand in hand. They're co-occurring diseases. Until folks truly understand that mental health is a disease, it won't get the attention. Now, I saw this when I did a lot of the breast cancer advocacy. Don't get between a breast cancer advocate and their issue, because you're going to experience, a lot of energy, a lot of expectation. And that's what's happening right now with the addiction issue. We're seeing parents that have lost their children, children that have lost their parents. We're seeing the accountability of the pharmaceutical companies and the pharmacies and the distributors become accountable. We recently are going to be receiving millions of dollars because they know they did something wrong. They unleashed this epidemic. Government also has a responsibility. The federal level, the FDA, should have put, should have been aware of this. And they were aware of it, but they should have done more. And again, this epidemic, I believe we're at, 97,000 people have died, more than the wars, World War II, and the different wars we have experienced. We're now dealing with the COVID pandemic too, which adds more stress and more of a reason why people want to self-medicate because of the stress and because just life is not easy. But we're here to help, and I've been chairing the Suffolk County Prevention Advisory Panel for about 4 years, and every year we come up with a report letting folks know what the county has available, and also to get ideas of where we need to focus our energy. And a couple things: we do prevention, treatment. We work with law enforcement. We work with the courts. The courts are helping those folks that may have committed a crime by buying drugs to rehabilitate those folks. We work with the departments, the advocates, medical community, and most importantly, the community.
So later this month, you'll have a public hearing coming up And what's the date and what will be discussed at this hearing?
Yeah, October 21st. We're going to have a remote public hearing. We already had a public hearing, and we have two. Two are required per the legislation that I sponsored. But we had like 92 people on a remote, and I've never had so many people facilitating a remote meeting. We had, maybe 20 some people provide public comment. And we need to hear this, and the panel needs to hear this. I have been so fortunate to have some of the most experienced experts in their fields, members on this panel. And we need to work collaboratively together to make these improvements in what the county can do. The county has so many resources. We have the DASH Center. You can Google DASH, DASH. Diagnostic Assessment Stabilization Hub, and I believe that's located in Hauppauge. There are so many really important resources. The county has Narcan training. One of the reasons why Suffolk County has one of the lower rates of opioid death rates in the country is because we've been so proactive with Narcan training and giving Narcan just free of charge. You don't have to pay for it. You can go to my website, get the information. You get my phone number, email address, and we can give that information to you. But I'm trying to get that information to the residents, and that's why I've taken the reins and I'm chairing this panel. It's a lot of work, but it's important work, and I'm really proud to be able to work with the people that are making a difference.
Yeah, and your commitment to all this, that also falls in line with you being the chairwoman of the Legislator's Health Committee, right?
Yes. I think, again, because I had been on the cancer prevention panel and now, again, chairing the opioid advisory panel, this has led into working with the different health issues and legislation that's related to health. I like I had said when I had worked with Czech, I truly believe our environment, the water, the air, the soil, what you eat and drink, how your stress, how you deal with stress. I just told my kids, I'm like, my youngest is still in college, looking to be a school teacher, special education. My son is doing his business in Philly, and my daughter's in the city doing her thing. But I said to them, you have to really at least like what you do. Love what you do would be great, whether it's your job or some type of outside activity. But that plays a role in your health. And I think we're really seeing that more and more. And that's why I encourage people to don't just think about themselves of getting up, you got to go to work, okay, and that routine that people create. Think out of the box. Think about, I really love pets. How can I help? Well, volunteer at animal shelters or get involved with, I was recently at the Warriors Ranch Foundation, which is a wonderful organization that provides horse therapy for our veterans. Eileen Shanahan, you go, girl. She's just amazing. It's out in Calverton. And there's just so many amazing experiences you can have and feel good about what you're doing by helping others.
And it seems like you've made a lifetime commitment of doing just that, helping others.
I've tried.
My guest today has been Sarah Anker, legislator of the 6th District, Suffolk County. We appreciate you stopping by and speaking with us today, and wish you to have a good Sunday.
Thank you so much, Tom. I really appreciate it.